get that kind of applause when I get up to speak to students. It's slightly unnerving, although I quite liked it. I think I've just come. Apologies. I don't know what came over me. Right, now look, come on, settle down. We're here to talk about something serious. I am a professor after all. I'm Professor of Interprofessional Education at Glasgow Caledonian University, known as Cali locally, or GCU Jimmy. And my job there is to investigate and research interprofessional education, and I also am that hated of species, a PhD supervisor. And it has really been an education listening to the PhD students who come up on Bright Club and explain how guilty they feel. I shall use that in future. Anyway, we're here to talk about my pet interest, which is measurement and the importance of numbers. I'm absolutely staggered that somebody could come up here studying a master's and suggest that triangles should choose their own number. What the hell has happened to trigonometry since my day? Anyway, numbers are interesting, and we should not neglect them and say, oh, that's just for scientists. They are very important, and they're the foundation of research. And I get annoyed when numbers are misrepresented. The BBC had a thing called 3 is a magic number. What a load of shit. 3 isn't a scary magic number, it's just a number, the same as any other. There are other phrases that get into the consciousness which are imprecise and they irritate. For example, the answer to the question, how many were there, is sometimes responded to by the phrase, oh, enough to shake a stick at. Oh, what's that then? I mean, what a useless piece of information. I mean, it's presumably 6 or 7. But it must be species specific. I mean, it might be 6 or 7 geese, but my guess is it would just be one saber-toothed tiger. Anyway, the other thing that irritates me are phrases which are not really generalizable and are okay for some people but not others. I mean, it's discriminatory. And one of those phrases is 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Well, what a stupid phrase. I mean, first of all, you've got to know that a dozen, and then you've got to multiply it by a half, and then try and remember what the first thing was you're supposed to be comparing it to. And what if you're with a group of bakers? They presumably say, 6 of one, 7 of the other. Or is it 6.5? Anyway, as you can see, it's an illogical and it irritates. The other thing, the chief culprit, I happen to have in my pocket. I shall bring it out. Here it is here. This is the hundreds and thousands which you can buy at the bakery section of your supermarket. Now, how they've got away with this, I do not know. Are there hundreds of thousands of these little bastards in here? I don't know. I have studied The writing, guess what? It says hundreds and thousands. It doesn't say average contents. Now I wondered, well, how would you check that? What would you need to do if you're going to check how many there were actually in there? Well, you could probably pour out about a gram and then painstakingly, without sneezing, move them into the different colours. There's pink, red, yellow and green. Well, who would do that? I have to thank my research assistant. Who has a passion for lamination. You give it to her, she'll laminate it. But using a microscope and a bit of elementary mathematics, you can scale this up and find out that the hundreds and thousands is, under the Trade Descriptions Act, it should be prosecuted. As an actual fact, there are 5,000 pink, 4,000 red, 2,000 yellow, and 1,000 green. So, in actual fact, this should be called thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands. I'll pass this and you can have a look at it. Check it out if you will. You get the real deal with me. Anyway, you think, oh, yeah, people counting numbers, all that stuff, that's just because you're a scientist. Well, it's not. I mean, if you look at art and literature, you'll find that numbers are very much important there too. Art, for example, paintings have to have a certain proportion of land to sky, and that's very important. Literature, there's lots of literature that looks at measurement and discusses it. For example, none less than William Shakespeare, who I happen to have been looking at recently. And I've noticed that he is clearly a man that understands number and measurement. For example, one of his plays is Measure for Measure. So he clearly understands the need for true measurement. He also understands the errors that you might make in statistical analysis. And the more errors you make, the more of a bloody tragedy it becomes. And ironically, he used the term a comedy of errors. And I'm going to use that at the next piece of rubbish statistical analysis I receive from a student. This is a comedy of errors. It's a lovely phrase. But the other thing that Shakespeare did, which was really good in terms of research and understanding what you need to do with research, is the naming of participants. And if you look at the contents of his plays, or rather a list of the plays, I have them here. Could you open that? Thank you. Oh, that's my notes. These are the ones. I'll have to be quick because I'm running out of time here. Thank you. He's got such a nice way with students. Anyway, this is a list of the plays, what he wrote, and I've looked down them and I've noticed, for example, very good research practice, when you've got names that are similar, you have to identify them with a number. He has Richard II and Richard III. He has quite a few Henrys, Henry IV, Henry V. Henry VI, I think, was an older man. He had to come 3 times, and probably prostate problems, I don't know. There's 3 parts for him. And then there's Henry VIII. There's no Henry VII, but again, that's good research practice. Leave a gap. He may have registered, but come along later. Okay, now I'm coming to my sort of build-up to finish here. I'm going to try and break a record here in First Club, the only person to use confectionery, and try and get 17 names of Shakespeare plays in one 8-minute routine. So I'm going to finish with 3 plays. See if you spot them. So, I would like to say thank you very much, and I hope that I've delivered this set as you like it. And that all's well that ends well. And if you wake up tomorrow thinking, what was that bloody nonsense I listened to, it might just have been A Midsummer Night's Dream.